So I have about 10 personal clients. That's a good number for me. Within the organization, I will probably about a similar number, 8 to 10, something like that. And so as we have new clients, then I'll be working with those new clients, helping them on our assessment, but also coaching them. So I guess it's the balance between 10 personal, 10 in the organization. It gives me a nice mix. And then I also have time to do the product development as well.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, and even $100,000 weeks. Before Purple Circle, I've grown several 7- and 8-figure career coaching businesses myself, and have been a consultant at 2 career coaching businesses that are doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets. I'm Annie, and today's guest is Diana Stepner, a product leadership coach with more than 20 years of experience building and leading product teams across global tech companies, startups, and mission-driven organizations. She's helped ambitious managers and product leaders unlock their potential, navigate career transitions with confidence, and create innovative, high-performing teams through human-centric coaching approaches. Welcome, Diana.
Hi, it's great to speak to you today. So thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
I'm so glad that we get to talk to you because you could have been a startup founder. You could have been, making your own product or even like a chief technical officer. But out of everything, you chose to be a coach and you turning into a business. I'm wondering what made you do that?
I think everything you said is incredible. And I've always admired individuals who are starting their own organizations, their own companies, their own nonprofits, whatever it may be. And what's always been fascinating to me is the people and what makes the people tick. And I grew up in Silicon Valley, so I've always been focused on technology and thinking about Apple Computer and all the things that came out of Cupertino. And I've always been really interested in building and creating, but it's the people behind the scenes that really stood out to me. And so as I go through my career and look at the elements that I just keep coming back to and reflecting on, it's the people.
That's really amazing. I love people too. I feel like there's something inside where you meet someone really unique and special, and it just brings out this shiny part. I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like you get that as well.
I like how you describe it, that shiny part. I think everybody is a puzzle in a sense to try to unravel or figure out all the pieces, how they come together.
Yeah, I have this thing. I'll share it with you, but I believe that every human being has a golden nugget inside them. And I always want to figure out what's your golden nugget.
I like that. That's very good. I was listening.
Yeah.
I was running this morning. I was listening to a Mel Robbins podcast, and one of the things that was highlighted was that happiness, how we are, is a choice. It's not a consequence of what we've done. It's a choice that we make. And I believe the same thing inside people is just the choices that they made. How did they end up doing what they're doing? What was the path that they took? And maybe it's just the curiosity in me, but I always want to try to understand what makes people tick.
Okay, we both share that same quality of just the curiosity and figuring people out what makes them tick. I wanted to ask, how did you find out the specific people that you wanted to help and the problems that you're helping them with?
Yeah, so I've been in product management for over 20 years, and it was really aligned nicely to all of my interests. You've got, the people, the user experience research side. You've got the technology that I grew up with and I'm always passionate about. And you have the business facets, as well as another master's in information management systems. And so the combination of those 3 areas, the technology, the user research, as well as the business, I just kept coming back to product as a path that would bring all of these together and allow me to explore different things. And I think all product people have a little bit of that octopus nature where we like to navigate and understand all parts of the business. And so for me, it was the role that allowed me to be a chameleon, that allowed me to connect the dots and just be able to, work across all facets of the company. And I love that. I think if I focus just on one area of the business, I might get a little bit bored. So I like being able to bring all the pieces together. And that's what product allows you to do. And after doing it for 20 years, there's just a lot of insight, a lot of things that I had picked up along the way. And so when I was starting to connect with people or individuals would reach out to me for coaching and guidance, it was often, wanting to, I would say, some type of validation or understanding about what they were doing. And was there a different way to approach it? Or how could they navigate a promotion or a difficult boss, whatever it may be? And, I could do advising or I could do mentoring, but often the answer was just inside them. And so being able to help them realize that power inside of them and help them gain the confidence to trust their instincts a little bit more, that's what really motivated me. I think it has a bit to do with the IKEA effect, where folks always say, you have a lot of attachment to your IKEA furniture because you had to figure out how to put it together. And I know a lot of people who have had IKEA furniture for much longer than they ever expected just because they put it together. It was something that they sat down and consciously did. And I feel the same way about coaching. A lot of times we have those bits of knowledge inside of us, but for whatever reason, we don't trust our instincts. And so helping people really call upon their own inner voice, that to me has always been what's allowed people to succeed as they start to just trust themselves and their instincts a little bit more.
That's a really special gift. Not everyone has that ability to unlock their own trust. That's a really special ability to help someone see the knowledge within themselves and to find trust within themselves. And you talked about how people were seeking you out, but how do they find you? Is it through just speaking engagements or, online?
So some of the individuals I'd worked with previously, and so it's colleagues from prior roles, from companies I was at. I also have been writing a newsletter, so you can find me on Substack. And individuals had really resonated with what I was writing, so they would reach out. I wrote a book this year with 2 other individuals, and so they'd also come across the book. I do a lot of mentoring and advising, so some of the individuals found me through various ADP lists or whether maybe Lenny's mentoring group. And so it would start as a mentoring client and then, want to go into coaching. I'm also in the ICF, so the International Coaching Federation. So people have found me through there. And on LinkedIn, a lot of what I do, I share on LinkedIn as well. So people will follow me and reach out for coaching too.
Wow. It sounds like you have a lot of different marketing avenues that you're utilizing, and that's really incredible. Do you want to give your book a shout out in case people want to read it?
Definitely. It's called Next Gen Product Management. And I wrote it with Dr. Bart Jawowski as well as Teresa Kane. And so it came out in January this year. You can find it on your local Amazon site. And again, it's Next Gen Product Management.
Thank you. So a lot of our coaches here really focus on lead generation, trying to figure out what's like the best lead gen for them. And I'm just wondering which one is like your top performing lead gen.
Yeah, I would probably say LinkedIn. And the writing that I do on Substack, I also post on LinkedIn. And I think it's something, it took me a while to learn that even though individuals may not comment directly or like every single post, they're following you. And so just being consistent and, sharing insight, sharing where I am so people can hear this podcast or other conferences and things I've been speaking at, people remember. And when they get to a point where they're looking for a coach or they want to have someone just as a thought partner, then they'll reach out. But it may not be immediate. So don't get discouraged if folks don't immediately, like a post or something like that. They're there, they're remembering it, and they'll reach out when the need arises.
Yeah, I'm a content creator as well. I do videos, and I think writing is really powerful because you're getting the knowledge from the source, and it is time consuming to build your audience, to build that trust. And I'm so glad that you're doing it. I wanted to know how you're building out your coaching program for your clients.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Some people will do a program. So week 1, you do this. Week 2, you do this. And I've found that the product people that I work with or the individuals in technology that are my clients, they're typically are things that arise on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis. And so I think programs are great, but I've found, I think the ad hoc nature of what we do with product, it's often driven by individuals. that it's more top of mind at that point in time. And those are the areas that people want to explore. And so from a program perspective, I will work with individuals for 3 months or 6 months, based on the duration or the opportunity that they're seeking. But oftentimes there's something that happens right before our call and they're like, I've got to talk about this. This is top of mind. I need to be able to work through this. And so that's the structure that I follow. I'm there for you. And so whatever is top of mind for you that you want to explore, that's what we're going to focus on. And so that allows me to be more personal to my clients.
That's really great. I'm so curious, what is the number one thing that's top of mind for a lot of your product clients?
Yeah, I think right now with product, it's AI. Yeah, a lot of folks are trying to understand, is my role going to be replaced? How is it going to evolve? Some individuals are just incorporating AI into tasks that they may not have liked to do, but it's often just getting comfortable with a new technology and determining how to incorporate it into their lives. And so they're looking for some advice and guidance around what is the right mix for them. And so being able to talk through how they could get up to speed, how they could apply their learning. Technology, AI aside, the facet that comes up most often is connecting with people. And how do I work with my boss? How do I work with my colleagues? How do I get my, contributions recognized by those individuals who determine a promotion or not, or a raise or not? So a lot of the non-technology elements are just about how do I work more effectively with people.
That's really powerful because a lot of times we don't know who to turn to if we're facing some internal struggle at work or a dilemma, a social dilemma. That could be kind of awkward. For some of our coaches, they have a hard time with pricing some of their services. And I was wondering if you would share a little bit more about how you break down your pricing. And you don't have to share any hard numbers, but just more of your thought process.
I think that's a really good question. I'll say it did take me probably a year to feel comfortable with my pricing. And, I went through the College of Executive Coaching to get certified. And there were a lot of conversations among my cohorts with our professors around how do you determine your pricing? And I think it was, for me, just research, talking to other coaches, doing testing and, getting to a number that I feel comfortable and confident in and just sticking to it. Because I do believe that if individuals value coaching and truly want coaching, there'll be a way to proceed. If the price does turn out to be a consideration for them that they can't adopt that price, then there's a lot of other opportunities too. So there are programs such as exec.com where I am as well that offer a program for a company. And then individuals can do coaching through their employer. That works really well. Similar one is Tandem. I think the URL is Try Tandem. It's for startups. And so again, a company, I think if they want to be able to get the most out of their help their employees feel more confident, then having an organization also invest in coaching, I think is a great way for individuals who may not have the funds to do it directly.
Well, that's super helpful. Thank you for sharing that. We'll post the links below so that everyone can get access to the help. Wow. So you shared a lot about helping people out. And I find that a lot of coaches give a lot of their heart and soul into helping other people. And I'm just wondering, how do you keep your cup full?
I have a coach too. I think that has always been really good. It's just, I believe in coaching, so it makes perfect sense that I would have a coach as well. And so my coach is really helpful for me in regards to grounding, areas that I want to grow and develop. So that really helps me. I think other facets of my life, just exercise is a really powerful one for me, just making that time every day to be able just to step away from a laptop, decompress, just get some exercise in is great. Obviously, my puppy who is below my feet, he helps me a lot too, just chill. And yeah, trying to get better at just appreciating the little things in life. And those are the things we often you just forget or don't observe, but just taking a second or two just to see a skyline that's got that purple haze in it through the clouds. Those types of things just really cause happiness to be there.
That is really beautiful. I instantly do remember like a nice purple haze like that I saw 2 days ago. I'm curious, so what kind of exercises are you into doing now?
So this morning I ran listening to my Mel Robbins podcast. I also do Peloton. So I love the instructors. I find them really inspiring. And then just do some training at the gym as well. So always try to do something like 6 days a week. And that just allows me to decompress.
That's really good. I sensed immediately when you joined the podcast that you had such a calm, grounded presence. And it grounded me as well. I'm a little bit of a kite. I'm just like floating in the wind. But having you here, your presence just calms me. And I really appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate that too.
You mentioned that you did coaching, and I know it's a little bit personal, but I kind of wanted to know, what are you growing on? What are you developing?
For me, it's confidence. I think that's something that I still need to build. I know, as I said, I'm a fractional product lead and work at a startup. And my boss gave me some really, really great feedback. She said she appreciated what I did and got a bonus and all of that. And I just started unraveling it. And I was like, what more could I have done? I should have done more. Maybe she's meaning this and I'm not interpreting it that way. And I just wanted to get to a point where I'm like, Diana, just stop. Appreciate what she said. Appreciate that she acknowledged your contributions. Appreciate those good words instead of trying to unravel them. And that's what I need to work on.
Wow. I'm actually really surprised that you have a confidence thing, because when I see you and hear that you grew up in Silicon Valley and you grew up in tech and like you're so smart and knowledgeable and like so ambitious, it's so surprising to hear that you're dealing with confidence. Yeah.
And I think it may be a little bit from growing up here. I'm in San Francisco and, AI is everywhere. You go get a coffee in the morning and people are talking about their startup and what their development track is and who their VCs are. And so you're constantly bombarded by these people who seem like everything's just happening. I think it's always, I admire people who just kind of let that roll off them. But I don't know, at least for me, it does seep in a bit. And so sometimes I do need to just center myself and say, appreciate what you have. So that's always a reminder for myself.
I think you're doing a great job, and congrats on that bonus. You're doing a great job, and it's great that you're identifying the unraveling, because I feel like that's the hardest part, is recognizing when we're self-sabotaging. I think that's it, because when we don't realize we're in a habit of doing that, then we don't know how to stop it. I believe in you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I am super curious to hear about where you want to take your coaching business. I know you've just done it for 2 years, but I see it getting bigger, and I want to know what your big 2-year vision is.
Yeah. So for me, it's continuing to work with my clients. That's definitely something that I want to do. I want to be there for them, whether it's clients I have now or clients I will have in the future. The other piece for me is my fractional work. I really believe in the company, the people that I work with, and we have an innovation assessment. And so I really want to see that grow and develop in support of the business that we're in, because I think with technology, people get forgotten. And when an organization is successful, when an organization scales, when it's around for a significant period of time, it's the people. And so I really believe in what the company is doing and our balance between technology and people and bringing those together to enable innovation to happen. And so for me, it's just a continued journey to develop that and helping organizations that are going through transformations.
That's really exciting. I feel like you have two really exciting parts of helping clients and then building up this organization. Do you ever feel like it's too much to split between the two?
I think the product that I build for the company is an innovation assessment. And then I coach people on the assessment. And so it's a nice circle of being able to build a product that then you can use to coach people. And again, I just love, the innovation. I love the exploration that people are doing in these new areas, given technology as it's changing so rapidly. So being able to help people navigate through that, I think, is another part of the triangle that we focus on. So that the product and the technology and the people and bringing that all together, for me, is a great focus for coaching.
Wow. So the triangle is product, technology, people.
For me,
Wow. Can you share a little bit more about what your product does? Because we're all in
sure.
the coaching industry and we're like, oh my gosh, if there's new tech that can help us, what is it?
Yeah. So it's called the Innovation Style Navigator. And what it allows you to do is to unravel your innovation style. And most individuals have a mindset or that they take with innovation. They might be risk averse. They might like to experiment. They might focus on the customer. They might focus on the product. And so we have a really short 16-question assessment that the founder of the company developed over her extensive experience building companies, working at Apple and Dell and other technology leaders. And it helps people realize where they're at right now and think about where they want to get to from an innovation perspective. The facet that also makes it really stand out is it's focused on the team, not just the individual. And so individuals will take the assessment, look at that together from a team lens, and that will give you understanding of where some gaps in your team might be, how you can develop those through coaching. And it then is used as a reference point as the organization, the team, the individuals continue to evolve. And so I'll compare it to the emotional intelligence assessment, EQI 360, because our emotional intelligence isn't like a personality test. EQI, our assessment, which we call INSEE, also changes. And so being able to help people understand their goals and objectives, where they are now, and then the steps that they could take to get and reach their goals.
What is the goal of the company for?
For me, it's helping organizations evolve. When I was at Pearson, I was there for about 10 years. I started our incubator and our accelerator. And I really was excited about bringing in startups to be partnered with the organization around challenges that we had internally. I don't believe that companies always need to build everything themselves. I think a lot of times there's smaller organizations or potentially equal-sized partners that have a competency that could make a company stronger if they partner. And so I worked on, identifying those opportunities, building things internally, but also looking outside, leveraging those capabilities that already existed outside the organization. And part of it was identifying people who had that instinct, that desire to explore new things. And so as we were building the accelerator, building the incubator, we created a network of champions, individuals who were across the globe who just wanted to explore new things and to be able to continue to evolve the company and remain connected to our clients who aren't sitting still. At Pearson, we were working with students and instructors, and the world changed. So they did too. And our efforts through the champions allowed the organization to learn about the new developments and continue to partner with the schools, the teachers, the students as their worlds evolve too. And so I want to apply that in the company I'm at today to continue to help people evolve, and then the organizations that they work with, to do things that will make an impact, have a difference in their fields.
Wow. You get to help so many people evolve. How many people are you coaching right now in terms of your personal coaching versus helping the organization?
Yeah, so I have about 10 personal clients. And so that's a good number for me. And then within the organization, I will probably about a similar number, 8 to 10, something like that. And so as we have new clients, then I'll be working with those new clients, helping them on our assessment, but also coaching them. So I guess it's the balance between 10 personal, 10 in the organization. It gives me a nice mix. And then I also have time to do the product development as well.
Do you ever think about expanding, creating another you to be able to help with the coaching? Or is this like a good balance right now?
Well, unfortunately, I'll bring up AI. So there's a lot of organizations now that are starting to do digital twins that, could supplement a coach, for example. One of the companies that I advise is a startup called Wisely. They do a digital twin. So you have your knowledge. It pulls in information from Substack or LinkedIn as well as other sources. So a company could go to Wisely. They could search for me, find me, and learn or leverage my product insight. Another company that I advise is called WingRep. And so they provide sales coaching to sales reps. And so I've helped them on the product side. So there's more ways now, given AI and technology, to be able to give people access to your knowledge when you might be asleep or out running or just not available at that point in time. So I think technology is starting to supplement, or as you said, create another you.
Whoa. Are you pro creating another digital twin?
I think it works from a tactical perspective. So if there's, a short question that you have, almost a brainstorming partner, I think that works fine. But if it's something more felt, something more intense, I was saying working with the people side, I believe a human is actually what you need. The AI interactions could give you a foundation, but definitely getting into the nuances of, humans. We say one thing, we do another. We don't always act as expected. I think those are elements where a human partner is best.
Yeah. Do you think you should control your digital twin, or should your company be able to do what they want?
If it's a representation of you, then I think it should be something that you have control over. The organizations that I mentioned, you decide what information you provide and becomes part of your digital twin. And I think that's a really good approach. SuperMe is another organization that, again, you decide what is loaded into your digital twin. And so I believe that's a really good opportunity to leverage the insight that individuals have, but to allow individuals to retain control over what their digital twin.
That's amazing. I'm going to look into it. Wisely and SuperMe, if you want to create digital twins. I wanted to go into a mini game. We're here as coaches and we all kind of invest in ourselves. And I'm more curious if you want to play a little business investment game with me.
I will definitely try. Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's super quick, super easy. It's called First, Last, Best, Worst. And you kind of just tell me like what comes up to your head first. So let's start. First, what was your first business investment that you remember making?
I don't know if it's definitely not the first, but it's the one that I still remember. When I moved to San Francisco from London in 2014, everyone was talking about Bitcoin. So I bought Bitcoin. And so I think it's really fun to watch what it's done for the last 11 years. It's just put $50 in and, it's amazing kind of how it's evolved over time. So that is the investment that I think I get the most joy out of, is just watching the strange behaviors of Bitcoin.
That is amazing. Oh, wow. So you put in 50. Did you add in more or you just let that 50 ride?
I think I've put in about $200, so not that much, but it's been fascinating just to watch it evolve over time.
That's really cool. My husband put in 100 and he's just like, this is weird, pulls out and he regrets pulling out.
I look at it, let it sit there. And yeah. Very, very interesting to watch.
Pretty fun. What is the most recent business investment that you've made for your coaching business?
My coaching business, so I want to go towards the next level of my credential. And so invested in the next series of courses to take. And yeah, looking forward to starting to take those in January. So last year I got certified as an ACC. This year, focused more on work. Next year I'll take the next round of courses and go for my PCC at the end of next year. So started that investment already and signed up for my courses.
Ooh, good luck on your PCC.
Thank you. Thank you.
What is the best financial business investment that you've made and why?
I think I don't know if it's a little strange of an answer, but I think for me, it's investing in being able to work overseas. And so I worked in London for 12 years, and doing so enabled me to experience a lot of different cultures, to travel a lot of different places around the world. And I'm classifying it as an investment because if I had stayed in Silicon Valley, there's different opportunities that I could have had, but I decided to invest in myself and go work overseas. And the salaries weren't as great, but the experience I got was greater. And so I think that investment in myself, in my career, and just experiencing different cultures definitely has paid off in how I see the world and how I approach things.
Wow, yeah, you expand your horizon. And was it in London that you went overseas?
Yeah, so I was based in London. I got to travel to a lot of different countries with the companies I was in. I met my husband there, which is very nice.
Is he British?
He's from South Africa, but he
Oh, nice.
was basically
Wow, congratulations. Wow. See, if you didn't take that big leap, you wouldn't have met your husband.
exactly. So I think that's a good investment.
So let's go into some hard stuff. Like in this current season of your business, is there any growing pains that you didn't expect for your coaching business?
I don't know well, from talking to people, growing a business is always hard, whether it's coaching or something else. And I think that is something I definitely realize that it's never done. You're always looking for more clients. You're always posting more. You're always connecting more. So I think the hard part is it's never done. It's always something that you need to do and pursue and set time aside to tackle. And I think that to me is just a really big realization that I always need to set aside time during my week to grow my business.
How much time are you putting into your business?
So I do things every night. So after my quote work day is done, I will focus on my business at night, before I, kind of wind down and go to sleep. And then usually one day over the weekend, my husband will be out bike riding and I'll use that time to, write a newsletter, do other things focused on my business. So yeah, a bit every day and then usually a full day on a weekend.
Right now, what is something that you're working on that you're trying to achieve? So for example, writing, I would assume that's for marketing. So you're trying to get more leads. Like what is the goal?
Yeah, on my Substack, it's dianastepner.substack.com. I read a newsletter on people first leadership. It goes out every 2 weeks. And so I'm always like churning on something in my head around what the next article should be. And so that top of mind for me because, this coming up Saturday is going to be the day where I write my next newsletter. So I'm starting to think about what that will be. And then the other piece about it is just, thinking about some of the conversations I've had with my clients and how I want to best support them, things that I want to, learn to be able to apply and grow with them. So there's always new information I'm trying to pick up and then determine how I can apply it or share it with my clients.
That's really fantastic. Always thinking about your clients and how to help them. For your newsletter, I'm curious, like, do you get a lot of folks inquiring for your coaching services through?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the sources. People will reach out to me on LinkedIn and I'll ask them, like, how did you hear of me? The newsletter is often an answer. And then, when I do conferences or talks or things like that, people will subscribe to the newsletter and then they'll say, oh my God, I was following up on your newsletter, really liked X, Y, and Z. And so it definitely seems to be one of the tentacles. If I think about, all the different arms that I've got out there,
Yeah.
that helps people understand my philosophy and my approach.
I'm glad that you have so many listeners and or readers too.
I'd love to have more clients. So that's something I think every coach is always looking for. But for me, the clients that I have now, some of them came through the newsletter, some of them came through, conferences, things like that as well. So I'm happy with where I am right now.
I wanted to do one last thing and ask if you have a piece of overrated advice that you've been giving.
Yeah, I think appreciate the small things. And the small things, are those wins that we have that, even myself, we just ignore. We just say, oh, that just something we had to do, or that's just, instinct. And those little things often are just, a really, as you said, a really nice nugget that we should hold on to and treasure. So just celebrating those small wins and taking the time to do so. I've always focused on what people call soft skills and communication and collaboration, connection. And I've worked in a lot of places where people have said soft skills don't matter. It's more about, the technology and what you deliver. But it's interesting now with AI and soft skills. And as we think about, what makes an engineer great, it's the communication, the collaboration, the connection. The coding is definitely important. But as more people can code, given the AI tools, the elements that make us human are standing out. And so the soft skills are finally getting their due. So to me, it's just appreciate those soft skills and develop those, because that's what will allow you to achieve your goals, but also allow you to work effectively with others. Life is a team sport. So definitely think it's important to be able to connect and work effectively with others.
Thank you so much, Diana.
Thank you. And yeah, this has been amazing. And I think you've done a brilliant job. So from a perspective of how you do and how you show up, I've been really impressed with your questions and the engagement that we have during this conversation. So thank you
so much. So one more time, I would love for you to let people know how they can contact you, find you, and work with you.
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm Diana S, just after the IN with the LinkedIn element. So just find me with Diana Stepner. I have a Substack, which is dianastepner.substack.com, or you can just go to my website, dianastepner.com, and find me, and I'll have all the links off to other places too. So look forward to connecting with people.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, reach out to Diana on LinkedIn and follow her newsletter.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This podcast was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, or even $100,000 weeks, all without burning out and making sure that you're making the impact and having the life that you want. To learn more about our community and how we can help you, visit joinpurplecircle.com.